Biology Basics. Come on, let's talk about the study of life. In this video, we're going to discuss about a topic in biology where most students find it quite difficult to understand. It's all about genetics and heredity. First off, what is genetics? Genetics is a branch of biology that deals with the study of the mechanisms of heredity. Now, what is heredity? Heredity is the passing on of all the characteristics from one generation to the next generation. The study of genetics also examines the similarities and differences between organisms. Try to compare your characteristics with that of your parents or your siblings. Can you identify characteristics that make you similar or different from your parents, brother, or sister?
Characteristic is a readable feature such as eye color, height, texture of hair, shape of earlobes, and skin color. The variants of a character are called traits.
All living things possess characteristics that make them similar or different from one another. Since we have talked about genetics, the question is, how did it all begin?
Well, the scientific study of heredity started with experiments of the Austrian monk and biologist named Gregor Mendel, the father of modern genetics. He experimented with pea plants, which lasted for over 7 years. Mendel was the first scientist to give a satisfactory explanation of the mechanisms of heredity. To date, the patterns of heredity discovered by Mendel form the basis of the study of genetics. Now let's talk about monohybrid inheritance. Mendel bred different varieties of green peas and cross-pollinated flowers that had different forms of traits. Such contrasting expressions or alternative forms of a trait are called alleles. Inheritance involving one pair of contrasting characters or alleles is called monohybrid inheritance. In one of his experiments, Mendel crossed a pure-breeding variety of a garden pea with purple flower and another pure-breeding garden pea with white flower. Such a cross is called a monohybrid cross, or simply the cross looking at one trait. The observable expression of the trait, which are the purple or white flowers in our example, are called phenotype, or the physical appearance of the organism. Meanwhile, the factors or genes located inside the nucleus of the cells of an organism that are responsible for the observed trait are called the genotype, or the genetic makeup of the organism. In the study of genetics, symbols are used to represent individuals in order to simplify the cross. In our example, we use the letter P for the flower color trait, which can be a purple or white flower trait. In genetics, we use the terms dominant and recessive traits. We say dominant when we refer to the traits that are expressed. We say recessive when we refer to the traits that are covered up. In Mendelian genetics, dominant traits are expressed using symbols capital P or capital P small letter p, which resembles for the purple flowered traits in our example. Meanwhile, the recessive traits are expressed using small letter p, which resembles the white flowered trait in our example. We call the capital P and small letter p as homozygous genotype, or having identical alleles for a particular characteristic. Big letter P as homozygous dominant, and small letter p as homozygous recessive. Now what about big letter P, small letter p? We call it heterozygous, or having two different alleles for a particular characteristic in our example, having big letter P, small letter p.
To clearly visualize how alleles are distributed among its descendants, we can use the diagram called Punnett square. So it looks like this.
How do we use the Punnett square? For a monohybrid cross, we need a square divided by 4. Oh, it looks like a window pane. Seriously, the very first thing to do is to determine the genotypes of the parent organisms. Next is to split the letters of each genotypes and put them outside the Punnett square, with one at the upper part of the square and the other at the left side of the square. Let's take a look at our example. For instance, big letter P crosses small letter p as the parental generation. If you let the F1 generation to self-fertilize, the next monohybrid cross would be To summarize the result of the offspring genotype, we have one big letter P, and two big letter P, and of course, one small letter p.
Genetics doesn't end with monohybrid inheritance. Actually, there are lots of topics to cover up when it comes to genetics. It's just that this video is just about monohybrid inheritance. Now, if you have questions or suggestions, you can write your